Hey, Daniela.
Hey, Reina.
Well, welcome again. I know we've had numerous conversations over the last couple of days. Thank you for making time to be on our Beyond the Resume podcast. Unlike most of our candidates, Daniela is a seasoned marketer. I've known Daniela for over 10 years now. And in the last 8 years, she has dedicated and has some extensive experience in the events industry. She holds a master's degree, extremely talented. She's worked on a couple of branding projects for our business, Smart Talent Group as well. So she had a very strong background in sales as well, where we initially crossed paths and we placed her in her first role. So Daniela is here today to share a little bit about trials and that candidates that are on 482 visas and they look for roles. So I I invited Daniela to share a little bit about her current journey as a job seeker because as recruiters and hiring managers, we see a number of candidates that have a visa, but they're very seasoned and experienced. But they go through some pressing challenges. So there's a lot beyond the resume, and this episode's dedicated to them. So Daniela, if you want to just share a little bit about your background, your experience, your journey here in Australia, and what you're currently going through, that'll be great.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on the podcast, Reina. It's been a pleasure, obviously, working with you, getting to know you. You placed me in my first role. I'm very grateful to you for offering me this opportunity to have a voice as an immigrant visa holder who's also looking for jobs in the current market. It is extremely challenging at this point, being, in a little bit of a pickle myself because I was recently made redundant from a role that I was in as a marketing manager, and looking for a role now in this market as a 482 visa holder is extremely challenging. And I don't think Australia as a country where we are majority immigrants, right? It doesn't get talked about as much. It's like a taboo topic, even with recruiters that I've spoken to. It's people tend to bolt in the next direction as soon as you mention that there's a potential requirement for sponsorship or a situation. And my journey, obviously, I came to Australia as a student, as most current job seekers, immigrant seekers, are in a similar position. Came to do my master's, was placed in my first role in sales in a global company. And my journey, though, from there kind of moved into marketing, where my passion lies. That's what my master's degree was in. And I'm very grateful for the sales experience that I got, because what it gave me was the commercial aspect, the commercial angle of what the sales teams are looking for and how marketing can align with it. So I think it was a tremendously beneficial experience for me. And then moving into marketing in the events industry, just to sort of have that commercial angle and the commercial understanding, and being able to sort of collaborate better with like marketing, with the sales teams and the other product teams as well.
Yes. And I think you've been in your last role as a marketer, I'd say a seasoned event marketer, senior marketer, for the last 4 years. Is that right?
Yeah, I completed almost like 3.5 years with the company. And it was because of there's been so many rule changes with regards to the visas that are currently in the system. And there was a recent change that basically allowed the company to sponsor you for a pathway to PR, which came into play later last year, which allowed then my current company to now sponsor me for the pathway to PR, and basically give me that clear pathway for permanent residency, which they initially agreed to, but then decided to pull back and change their mind and restructure 1 month before my visa expired, which kind of put me in a very, very tough spot. They I don't think organizations understand how difficult it is as a job seeker to actually have, especially one with a deadline, to actually have that short period of time to find somebody and find somebody who can sponsor and actually find a role that aligns with your skill set. It
Yeah.
makes it very, very difficult.
I agree. And I think, businesses, there's a two-way give and take for visa holders and businesses. I mean, as long as you're committed to the business and you're delivering, businesses are commercial and they make some tough decisions. But at the same time, I think businesses also need to be careful about the time frame given to a potential employee and how long they have on their visas, but they put some visa holders in a very challenging position when you've got a month left, right?
Yeah.
You've kind of, so I think being able to voice that, where, expectations need to be met both ways, and there needs to be a level of conscience from
Yeah.
an employer. So I think this is a really good way to voice that, because I'm sure there's candidates and job seekers out there that are in similar situations and no one speaks up, because you're right, it is a bit of a taboo. And and hiring managers and recruiters, you're pretty, even though you experience, you're pretty much put in the bottom of the pile,
Yeah.
right? Because it's that extra hurdle that they need to go over. So I mean, I think this is the next question for you, Daniela. What are you doing to stand out in the crowd at the moment? I mean, what are the steps you've taken? What do you think you can be highlighting on your resume to stand out? Because you are a marketer, right? So you can be using those skills to your advantage. So I mean, this is a great opportunity to share that with other candidates that are going through the similar journey that you are.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like I said, it's been you have your highs and lows. It's a roller coaster ride. But the things that I've tried to do is essentially is reach out to my network, right? Like that's been my greatest strength, the relationships that I've built over the years, the companies that I've worked with, the managers that I've worked with over the years, who I to date have really good relationships with. So, reaching out to my network and reaching out to everybody I know, to put in a word to see if there's any opportunity available that they know of. Because I often, in my last few experiences of finding roles, have been more successful in finding roles through my network rather than applying for them without any connections. So, just reaching out to anybody and everybody I know. Another thing that I've tried to do this time as well is take the time to sort of just slow down and upskill. What happens when you are with a company for a really long time is you kind of get stuck in like the same doing the same things over and over again, innovating whenever you can, but actually keeping up with the current trends as a marketer is very important. And that kind of may fall off, go down the sidelines when you are in a role for so long. So trying to look up on some online courses that I could do for free, just to maybe brush up on some skills that I may have not used for a while, and try and upscale and see some new areas that I can expand my knowledge in. And also, I think I'm focusing more on very on applications that actually align with my role,
Mm-hmm.
and ads and opportunities that align with my role, the previous role. It is very difficult. Um, there are opportunities out there, but for every opportunity that is advertised, you see about 60 to 70 applications. 30 to 40% of them are people in like a much senior role, much senior role than I am in, more director level roles. And then there are people obviously with a similar experience as you that are applying, and then there are entry level applicants as well. So how do you compete with that? How do you stand out? So I think in the meantime, while I am like looking for jobs, I'm also making sure that I am aligning my applications with what my knowledge is, with what my skill sets are,
Mm-hmm.
and where I can shine and sort of
Yep.
use my skills for the company.
Is there any courses or that you would like to share that you're currently doing? Are there any specific courses that you're doing that you think, you know what, this is amazing for any marketer out there that potentially is in a similar situation to myself?
So in my last role, I did use HubSpot as my CRM system a fair bit, and HubSpot does a really good HubSpot Academy, which has a very good online courses that you could do in terms of EDM campaigns or SEO campaigns and social media campaigns. So it's been pretty helpful for me. I've been looking into just like working on my SEO skills or paid ad campaigns and
Good.
things like that. And so I think HubSpot Academy is a really good resource. LinkedIn Learning as well, if you want to brush up on just like your
Thank you.
leadership skills and just
Yeah.
soft skills. It's really good as well, because like you said, it can get really challenging and depressing. You sometimes suffer from like an imposter syndrome, where you're just like, the ads can ask for a superhero in marketing and pay nothing. But then you're also like, am I actually capable of doing it? You have done everything in your past role before, but you start doubting yourself
Yeah.
after a point in time, when you go through those rejections or no calls, or you've been
Yes.
applying for a month and you haven't heard back from anybody. So yeah, I think even like brushing up on soft skills and just being like able to do that through LinkedIn Learning or
Mm.
HubSpot Academy can really help.
Yeah. That's excellent. And what's driving you? Because obviously there needs to be a driving force, right, to wake up in the morning and stay motivated, because
Yeah,
it can be quite challenging. So
yeah,
I know this is changing gear a little bit with what we do on this podcast, but I think it's important that we also understand what various different um, pools of talent are going through,
yeah.
because these episodes are dedicated to the candidate pool, right? They're dedicated to candidates and job seekers that are on the market going through various challenges. I mean,
Mm.
our couple of last episodes were of very senior sales professionals, and they even went through numerous challenges and put through the ringer. So I can only imagine how challenging it is for our experienced 482 visa holders who could be in a similar situation to yourself, right? So what's that driving force?
I think it's self belief. For me,
Yeah.
it's self belief. I've been in Australia 10 years this year, and I came in as a student, and I've been working in the industry for close to 8 years. And I've gone from visa to visa. I've collectively spent about in like $15,000 just in visa fees over the years. But what drives me is the fact that I believe in myself. I know I'm talented. I know if you put me in front in any role, I'm resilient. I've made my way. I've run successful campaigns. I take pride in the work that I do, and I believe in myself, and that's what drives me, because I know at the end of the day, if anybody can do it, I can.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And what would you say is your biggest achievement so far in your
My
professional
biggest
career?
in my professional career, I think moving from sales to marketing and actually being able to apply that knowledge in marketing. I've had successful campaigns that I've run for events that have grown from 200K event to then now over 3 years making $1 million in revenue, which is a great achievement for the company, for myself professionally, because it does take a lot of hard work, a lot of strategy, a lot of understanding the market,
And research, yeah.
and research to be able to actually execute it in the
Yes.
way it needs to, and actually being able to see it happen is a different kind of pride.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So Daniel, I think we've covered a lot of ground. So if there's three things you need to share with 482 visa holders like yourself, what are those three things that are in
Uh,
similar situation to yourself?
No, absolutely. I think A is believing in yourself and staying positive. I know it's repeated constantly about being positive, and It's easier said than done. But it is very necessary to be able to believe in yourself, to be able to achieve what you want to. Reach out to your network. Don't feel shy to reach out and ask for help. It is a difficult situation, and it's more common than you want to believe. So you will find people that will empathize with your situation. Ask for feedback, apply that feedback, and keep your community close, because the situation can definitely take a toll on your mental health. And you definitely need those cheerleaders, your supporters, your family, friends. It can be a very lonely process. So keep them close, check in with them, get professional help if needed, but get that help and get that support that you need through this process, because it's not easy.
Yeah, agreed, agreed.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again, and I'm glad that we got a chance to get you to voice what you're going through. It's it's been an absolute pleasure. I think I've known you for how long now? 10
10
plus
years, close to
years.
10 years. Yeah.
Did we place you in your first role? We did.
Yes.
We did.
Yes.
And that showcases that we genuinely care about people, and we know our candidates, and we've been there for them for 10 plus, and we will always be there for people that really need us. So I think thank you again, Dan.
Thank you so much.